Welcome to the Soul Stripping Partial. Wow, it's another Friday, and my question to you today is how are you really doing and how has your day been? Welcome once again to the Soul Stripping Partial. I am so excited about today's show because I love the sound of credit alerts. I think credit alerts are therapeutic. No matter how sad you are or unhappy, you just want that beautiful, beautiful sound of the credit alert. You know that amount of money you'll be expecting. And then if you're like me, you prefer it in something called foreign currency. So there are some currencies that have surnames, like money in Nigeria does not have a surname. But when you hear some currencies, they have surnames. So when you hear pounds sterling, you just see that at that point, it's not the same. It's not your Naira's mate. So when you meet a superior currency, it has a surname, pounds sterling. I like the sound of it, especially at this particular time. Welcome once again. How has your Friday been? My guest is already in the house, and we're just here to learn and learn and learn. If you do not have your writing pad yet, please get your writing pads, please get your pens, because we will be talking about money and how to secure the bag. 2020 has been so interesting, and I know that this last quarter can actually be better than the first few quarters. So if you're ready to learn and you're ready to put in the work, you are in the right place. So how has your day been? I know our regular visitors and participants will be showing up soon. I know there's someone who shows up all the way from the United States, somebody from Ibadan, and some people from Nigeria, Lagos, and then across the country. So welcome once again. It's a Friday night. Friday night, one of the best nights that you can do anything. And tonight we're here to learn how to make money, how to save and invest, where to put your money into. And my guest is someone who terrorizes me on social media, especially Twitter. She just tweets. I have to read the tweet like 3 times if I understand it, because she speaks a lot of financial, sometimes I'm just hearing some words and I'm like, we just need like plain English. Like, can we just hear this thing in plain English? Like, so what's going on? It's like you are declaring a state of emergency on our finances. Have mercy. We're dealing with a pandemic and with you. Like yesterday, I saw one tweet. I think it was her or our organization. It was either of both that said, "Oh, look at your investment. Are you proud of it?" And I wanted to say, "Honorable Minister, it's okay." Like, can we just have peace? But she's good at what she does. Tosin, if you don't know Tosin yet or her profile, I'll just introduce her based on what I know about her. Her profile is everywhere, on her wall, on my wall, about where she has been, the country she's worked, where she's lived, what she's achieved. Bottom line, Tosin is the founder of Money Africa, and all she does is to help people understand financial intelligence in the area of investing, instead of you just keeping your money in your account and making it chill and not earn any amount of money or earning some disturbing interest rate. Tosin is here to let us know where we should be investing at this particular time, because I think that this time is pretty crucial. Where should we be investing? What should we be looking out for? So what she's going to give us tonight is what people usually pay her for. So how you would pay her is to, first of all, listen to her. Secondly, is to follow their handles. Check out what they have on Money Africa. They have packages for kiddies, for teenagers, for youths, for adults. Money Africa is one of the leaders in the game in the financial sector. So that is how to be a part of the movement on how to increase your personal and professional influence at the Soul Stripping Spa Show. So my guest will be in the house in less than 3 minutes. But if you are not following her yet, her handles are Oluwatosin, Olaseinde, or Money Africa. So either of both, you're joining the movement and the professionals who just want to increase their personal and professional influence. So before I bring Tosin into the house, I just want to know how your day has been. What's going on this weekend? How was your week? My week was a wealthy week as usual. That is my usual mantra. Wealthy week, wealthy day. It has to end in wealth. No options, no choices. things have to be done and they have to be done appropriately. So talk to me. I can see some of our regular guests on the show already. Welcome, welcome from all over the world. Welcome to the Soul Stripping Spa Show. If you haven't subscribed yet, I know that you are kind. So please click the subscription button and let's have this movement together. So I see all the awesome people watching me. Please, where are you watching from and how has your day been? Don't just peep in and out. Just have a conversation. So the chat room is open. How has your day been? Before I introduce our guest, and we will start taking notes and learning and jotting and increasing our financial knowledge. So I just feel that by the end of today, I would have just become a professor. I'll just understand Excel sheets. On few occasions, I deceived myself with Excel sheets. I will get on my laptop, open Excel, and I'll be pretending to type. I don't know what I'm typing. I just know that people talk about Excel sheets and calculating their money. I don't know how that is done, but I would really like to learn, So what's going on? Everybody watching, how are you doing? How are you really doing? What's going on today? Please talk to me. Don't just watch or disappear or just, show up like you're monitoring. Just have a conversation. So we're talking about money, credit a lot. And then during this lockdown, what have you really been spending money on? I used to spend money on food, but I have reduced it. I've reduced it because it just occurred to me that I know how to cook. Like, yeah. When I saw the amount of money that was moving, I was like, what? No, I got to do this. So, yeah. So now I take care of like half and then I can, subscribe to the other half. Okay. So, had a quiet day. Day has been great. Awesome. Day has been great so far. Thank you. So let's see who else wants to have a conversation. Who else wants to have a conversation? How's your day been? Tosin will be in 60 seconds. How has your day been? How has your day been? We should show you some love and care because you deserve it. So how has your day been? How has your day been? I know that people are watching and listening to us on Facebook. Thank you. Facebook friends, thank you. Our Facebook group, Emotion City. If you're not there, it's a good time to join Emotion City on Facebook and also Money Africa on Facebook. If you're not following them yet, please be a part of Money Africa and also follow Oluwatosin or Olaseinde on social media everywhere. Just learn and, be part of what they are creating like we are part of it. Okay, so people are saying to me that the day has been good and I'm sure that your weekend is going to be better. So Tosin is the founder of Money Africa. She has been up and about, but the interesting thing about it is that she is consumed with the passion to help people increase their financial health and their financial wealth. And it is my pleasure to be hosting Tosin today. We'll be talking about what exactly is money, why should we pay attention to money, and at this particular time, where should we invest and where should we not, invest or show up? And, long-term investment, where exactly should we put our money? What exactly is a bond? I hear that word repeatedly. Where are the safe routes? And then everything about money. So beyond the fact that she's going to teach us about how to invest, they also have packages that I think that you should subscribe to. So in 10 seconds, Tosin will be in the house and I'll be welcoming her. 1, 2, 3, go. Welcome. I think you're muted. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for this opportunity.
You're welcome. Tosin hunt me on Twitter. Any little thing, Tosin will just come up with statistics. First quarter. I'm just like, hey, Tosin, we're trying to eat breakfast. In fact, there's one day I say, Tosin, I will follow you. I can't even come on Twitter. I just be on the street without encountering you. Tosin will just say, how much do you spend on food? And it will be like a direct attack. It will just be like, Tosin, are you in my house? When you listen to my conversation. But, just following Tosin's tweets, sometimes you really want to buy something. And because you have been following some particular people, the moment you want to pay, you just remember them. I know. It just looks like, following you. It's the same way there are some medical doctors on Twitter that I follow. Anytime I want to eat late, it just looks like they are practically in my kitchen. I just see the two of them. And I'm like, no way. I must not disappoint them. And then I step out. And it was the same way. I think the day I calculated how much I was spending on food was one day that Tosin got online and asked the question about food. And I was like, not true. Let me even try. And as I looked at my bill, I was like, hey, Jesus, what am I eating? And I was like, no way. I must make Tosin proud. I must make Tosin proud. So I started pretending to cook. So welcome once again, Tosin. We're going to be talking about money because all of us, we all desire to experience credit alerts and all of that. We want you to please take us around the world of money. What exactly is money is, and what should we be doing now with our money?
Great. All right. Thank you so much once more for having me. I'm very excited to be here. Every time we talk about money, we're just talking about, how do we invest it? What should we be looking at? How much should I have saved or invested at a certain age, amongst others? But it just keeps dawning to us more and more that the minute we start looking at taking care of our money as a lifestyle, the conversation becomes easier. So the very, very first place to start, which is actually a core of what you do, is talking about how personal finance is actually 80% habits and 20% knowledge. So many a time people are chasing the knowledge, but we're actually not dealing with the habits. The habits are actually very critical. Based on a lot of research, many people inherited their money habits from their parents, right? So sometimes very, very subtle. How do they spend? What do they feel about money? How do they anticipate it? So basically all the conversations about money, how to go higher, can I earn more, amongst others. So we basically have three key principles we always talk about. Number one is very critical for us to actually have a source of income, right? And that source of income, we are deliberately growing it. Number two is that as our income is growing, that we are actually at the very minimum, we are keeping our expenses growth to be at the same level of our income or preferably lower. But what usually happens is that people are spending faster than they are making money. Now, the very third one is actually living below their means. So a lot of people also don't like to do that. We want to be able to do all of these nice things, but maybe wait it out, pace yourself amongst others. So those are the very, very three key principles. So now the thing about this whole money thing is that it's like a soil. If you have a good seed, that is a good source of income. But if you put that good source of income in a poor soil, it's not going to take root. It won't grow. So we always talk about the soil all the time. So we need to have the right mindset about money. We need to have the right principles. We need to put in a good tool. A perfect example would be this. So if you ask a lot of people that do they have a budget? Like I was randomly asking yesterday that how much do people spend on their skincare? And they're like, it's true. So people were actually now going to go and get their bottles and they're costing it and they're dividing it per month. So all just this little, it might seemingly look like small information, but it actually really matters. Right. So like, for instance, we talk about budgeting a lot. Before I started Money Africa, I used to work with British American Tobacco as a commercial finance manager. And my job was to, at least 60% of my job was about budget. I was chasing budgets. Now, it wasn't just me. It was myself, the team in Ghana, the team in Cote d'Ivoire. The company was spending so much money on us just doing what, tracking budgets. There's a company in Nigeria that the way they make their money is this. They sell data to companies. So they can say, for instance, a 30-year-old female living in Lekki buys petrol, goes to ShopRite and spends this amount. How I spend my money, they're selling it to companies so that companies can build products targeted at me. Now, if somebody is buying my information, why am I not using it? So these are the reasons why we keep begging people, please, you need to have a budget. We need to know where the money is going. And this conversation is very, very important so that if anything happens, we know the plug to pull. So if I need to cut my cost as an emergency, I know what plug I'm going for. Definitely, I'll have to cut down on because I want 24/7 electricity. Can I have 20 hours instead? I know the levers to pull because I know the structure of my cost. And that's why we keep having those conversations. So having those tools that makes personal finance easier is very, very critical. So for instance, like we spoke about having a budget. So these are some of the things that we can actually start thinking about, start implementing, and start enjoying the journey as we start thinking about going towards our financial independence journey.
Thank you. So we're in a pandemic. And as much as possible, we're trying to double our money without getting into money doubling.
Yes, that's true.
So what can we do, please?
Okay, so we've been getting a lot of that when a pandemic told you what can I invest in and things like that. And the truth is this, right? Definitely, if you look at things like the stock markets, a couple of companies are responding differently because of how the pandemic is. I mean, look at Amazon. Amazon has almost doubled compared to what they were doing last year. I mean, many
Mhm.
people will think that a company that fast should not be able to grow at such a fast pace, but it has. If you look at their price last year and their price now, it has almost doubled. Why? Everybody is indoors. We need to order on Amazon, and Amazon's business is booming. I mean, everybody has been speaking about Zoom, how Zoom has been enjoying an amazing time. I mean, people are speaking about Shopify. Lots of people are starting businesses. Many people that have never tried entrepreneurship, they started launching businesses over the COVID period. Shopify, that was $500 at the beginning of the year, has now hit $1,000 for the very first time. So if you start looking at all of these companies, how they're reacting, look at Clorox, the disinfectant, because of COVID, boom, the business really went swell. However, it's really, really nice to position for a couple of these companies because they are reacting to the market, because they've created new opportunities, because their market is bigger, but you're also thinking long term. So that whenever people want to invest, I always ask them, you're asking me indirectly, you're asking me three things: that what is my risk appetite? So we have three different classes of investment. The very first one is your low risk. Low risk means that you can sleep at night. The job is not for it to give you a lot of profit. You're basically protecting your capital, but you can sleep at night. Now you have another category, which is the medium risk. Medium risk are things like shares, amongst others. Now, many people invest in the medium risk for several reasons, right? So you're thinking about how much can I grow? How can my money grow on the long run? But there's a chance that you could lose your capital. So we're talking about shares, we're talking about agri tech for some places, amongst others. Now, the third category we have is high risk. Now, we're talking about things like cryptocurrency. The cryptocurrency market is actually very volatile. You can literally sleep at night and you see the market dip. Many people that bought the Bitcoin at $20, it went all the way to $3,500. I mean, what story will you tell? Some people waited for about 2 years just to see that share, see it climb back up. So whenever you're dealing with a very, very high risk asset, you limit your exposure, knowing that anything can happen. So you cannot put all your eggs in that basket. So in order to summarize it, how are we investing during COVID? Number one, you have to look at your buckets. So the profile of Tosin might be different from the profile of Dotun. So Dotun might be nearing its nearing 50s or even going higher. So you're looking at, I shouldn't be taking as much risk. So you're also thinking about cash flow, how much rent do I have to pay, amongst all these other things. So that will be able to help a lot of people inform. Now, I want to individualize it a little bit. Now, let me say that, for instance, there's a mid-20 person watching this show and asking herself, how do I invest in the midst of COVID? The number one thing I would tell that mid-20 person is be very aggressive about building skills. Skills are very, very critical. So the more skills you've built, then you have more income and you can actually invest more. So to be very honest, instead of me saying, oh, go and buy mutual fund or do all these other things, I'm thinking, what can you invest in now that can develop your skills, that can make you earn more money? That's what I'll be telling to a mid-25-year-old. Also, for that mid-25-year-old, I'll be saying, why not go in and invest in shares? Even if the market crashes, you're young, you can easily, make it back up. Go in hard, right? Now, if I'm talking to a 30-year-old, what I'll be telling that person, supposedly their skills are already built, they've stabilized more as opposed to the person in their early 20s. So I'll be saying this is a nice time to actually build a portfolio. So you have something towards in safety, so that no matter what happens, you have something to fall back on. Safety is very critical. Do you know how the wealthy people invest? So the extremely wealthy people, they have about 40% of their income in safety. So things like treasury bills, things like money market, things that is not taking any risk, right? And then the remaining 60%, they have it in shares, in private equity, venture capital, and all these other risky things. So I would tell a mid-30 the same thing, that make sure you have money in safety, and also please take some risk, but don't take too much risk, right? Because now you're already in the middle right there. Now, for somebody that is already in their 40s or mid 40s, you're also telling them about risk is also very great, because now if you're looking at the retirement of 65, we are talking about another 25 years. So please, by all means, take some risks, but don't be aggressive with the risk. You shouldn't throw all about 80% of your income in risk. So you need to be sitting down somewhere nicely in safety, and then you're also looking at some risk profile. Things like some global shares, if a person is interested in cryptocurrency, but a small slice, nothing too major, so that if anything crashes, you're not affected. So these are the kind of things I'm looking at, in terms of COVID and how to actually respond to it.
Thank you so much, Tosin. Thank you. So I'm looking at something. If someone is with you and says to you that should I buy a land or buy a house, what would your usual feedback be based on the numbers, land or
Great.
house?
Great. I love it. Let's start with this. So, for instance, am I buying a land or am I buying a house? We're looking at how that asset appreciates. Let me say, for instance, the person wants to buy a land by Ibejileki, right? And they want to hold it for a while. So now, how do they plan to get their money back from this land? Do they want to build houses on top of it and then sell it? Do they want to sell the land as an asset on its own? So it always differs. Now, if we look at based on the history of how this land have performed in the past, it's easier for a smaller parcel of land to multiply quicker than as opposed to a whole standing house, right? Right. So, but then again, a land in Ibejileki and a land in Ikpetumoju, they will have different kind of criteria. So you're looking at things like location. You're looking at things like what is the plans? What are we foreseeing in the next 10 years? What's going to happen to that area? In the next 20 years, what's going to happen to that area? So all these other things sort of come into fore. Now, for those that are saying, should I buy a house? I'm looking at a lot of things. Number one, do you want to put that house on a mortgage? So because the mortgage rates in Nigeria is quite high, the average right now is about 18%, right? So people are thinking to themselves, this is a lot of money. Should I, take a mortgage for my house? But I always tell them, whether you take a mortgage or you don't take a mortgage, you have to pay rent. So that rent is like a sunk cost, because you and your children or you and your family or you yourself, you will not sleep in under Oshodi. You need a roof over your head. So a nice way to also look at is to look at what will I be paying every year per rent, compare it to what you would have been paying if you were to be paying a mortgage, then it helps you to make a better decision. So you can look at the incremental cost. Things like, can I afford it? Where is this property going to be doing? Where is my opportunity cost? So for a lot of people, we've always been told, buy a house, but it might not necessarily always be the best decision. So you're thinking about opportunity cost. I'm sorry, I want to quickly add something to this, and I see it happen over and over again. Another reason why we always say to people that even though you look at your opportunity cost, like I could be earning more if I was investing in shares, I could be earning more if I was investing in other businesses, as opposed to the money just sitting down in that house, my fear, and this is what happens a lot of time, that many people are not disciplined enough to turn that money over consistently. So whenever they buy it, put it in a house, you understand? It's stuck in it. So even if they're tempted, they can't buy it, they can't eat the house, they can't buy the brick, they can't buy the cement. So even though it might not be the most optimized investment decision, just knowing that they've bought the house, so there's no devil that can tempt them to spend that money tomorrow. Sometimes it could be that. For other people, it could also be things like, comfort. Some people say that once they bought the house, they feel some kind of peace, like an emotional purchase. So it's very, very tricky. So in summary, should I buy a land or should I buy a house? Would depend on a whole lot of things. A land or a house. It depends on a whole lot of things, like my budget, how quickly do I want it to grow, how do I plan to monetize the house, amongst others. Now, still speaking about house, I just want to quickly touch on something there. Another way to quickly, because at the end of the day, it's an investment. And how do you know a good investment? You're looking at your payback period. How quickly can you pay off the value of that property from what you are getting from it? So if you were to normally rent a house to a regular tenant, you're getting, okay, let's use real numbers. I have a flat. The flat is 20 million. It is the middle of Lekki 2. I'm renting it per annum at 1 million naira to my tenant, right? Now, another way could be, is it possible to actually design this house, put it on Airbnb, do short let? So instead of getting 1 million naira every year, I could get like 3 million. If I go for that other method, I will pay off the house quicker. So you are thinking, can I build a BQ at the back? Can I make it beautiful? Can I cut it into parts? Can I, quickly get my money out? So these are all the other things to actually also think about. Yeah.
Thank you so much. How can we earn dollars, Tosin?
Fantastic. So we can earn
Or
dollars
earn
in
foreign
multiple ways.
currency?
Very current, great. Number one could be via our skills. So we are
Mm-hmm.
listing our skills online, right? So we are looking at how can I earn in dollar? Can I get foreign clients? Can I build a product that foreigners could buy as well? Can I do
Mm-hmm.
an ebook? All these other ways to actually earn. Can I list on freelancer to earn in
Mm-hmm.
dollars? That's one of the ways, which is actually very great. I would like to try and tell people, look for how you can earn in dollars. After you've earned in dollars, another way to actually still keep earning in dollars, number one, you have the euro bond. So what is a euro bond? A euro bond basically means that, okay, so like the Nigerian government, when they want to borrow money, they have a
Okay.
choice. They can either
Mm-hmm.
borrow the money locally. So when they're borrowing
Okay.
it locally, they're coming into the local market and they're actually coming here. So they could be going to the general public in the form of treasury bills. They could be going to the banks or any place to borrow locally. But now the thing is this, we're saying that the companies, small companies or small businesses in Nigeria are struggling for this small loan that the government is also fighting for, that they should go outside and go and look for how to get their own loan globally. So they should stop, choking that space for small businesses or regular businesses that are trying to find loan in Nigeria. So now they said, why not? We can also get a euro bond. So a euro bond could also be a way for the government to borrow money from financial institutions abroad. So now that financial institution is thinking that, I want to borrow some money to the Nigerian government, but I don't want to do it in naira. I don't want their wahala. Now it will not be like when I'm coming, I'm bringing my money at 360 naira to the dollar. When I now want to take my money, the money has now become 500 naira to the dollar. I don't want wahala. Let's do it in dollars, so that if I'm giving you $10,000, when I'm leaving with my $10,000. So it's one of the ways that they can do that. Also, talking about Eurobond, there are sovereign bonds, there are foreign governments, there are foreign financial institutions that use that same instrument. The whole point is that this loan is listed in a foreign currency and it is open for people to be able to tap into. So the Nigerian government can do one, financial houses can do one, anybody can do one. The aim is that you're borrowing that money in dollars. Now let's look at two things, right? The person that needs that money is borrowing it, but you as an investor, what are you doing? We are giving them, so we are investing. So when we buy a euro bond, what we are doing is that we're actually investing. So that is one of the ways that we can make money. On average, the euro bond in Nigeria is doing approximately about 6 to 7%, which is quite decent. That's quite a decent return in dollars, because number one, you're protecting yourself against the drama of naira. Number two, you're earning in dollars. So that is one of the ways you can earn in dollars. The next way you can earn in dollars is by investing in global shares. So we are not talking about shares on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. We're talking about shares on the New York Stock Exchange, shares on NASDAQ, shares on London Stock Exchange globally. And now there are companies in Nigeria that actually open the market and enable us to do that. I'm sorry. There are companies
So
in
do you
Nigeria that
help
actually
people
enable
to
us to
do
do
that?
that.
Morning Africa, do you guys have a package in that direction where you help people
Yes,
buy
we do.
abroad? Oh,
We
okay.
do. So we can
So like
actually
what's
share our
the minimum
referral
fee?
codes with them. Yeah. So in that space, so for
Mm,
instance, there are several companies. Like there's something I want everybody to go take a look at. It's called Monthly Foods. They release numbers regularly, so they can tell you, oh, you know what, take a look at that company, take a look at this other company.
Monthly what, please?
Recently, Monthly Foods, like MOTLEY, then a fool,
Okay,
FOOL,
okay.
motleyfool.com. Fantastic. I hardly rave about it. And I mean, they don't even know I'm speaking about this for them. So
Mhm.
I hardly
Yeah.
rave about it, but I love it. It's so easy to read. It's like a friend talking to you. It's very nice. So they talk
Mhm.
about, what shares to invest in. So for instance, they've been speaking about this particular share now. It's called Wix, WIX. It's like a platform to help,
Yeah.
the businesses, set up website and things like that. And
Mhm.
it's actually doing well. So this kind of thing, you just hold it and you hold it for the long run. So how can you
Mhm.
earn in this way? There are two ways to earn. Number one, dividend. So the company could be paying you a dividend on an annual basis, or
Mm.
monthly or quarterly. Number two, capital appreciation. So for instance, let's look at Tesla. At the beginning of the year, Tesla was $350. Now, Tesla went all the way to about $1,400. So just by being a baby girl, minding your business, praying to God, going about your business, you've made about 400% just by investing. Of course, this year could have been an outlier. It might not happen again like that. But just to know that you can just leave it on the long run. Now, speaking about investing, there's a lot of things that a lot of investors do not do. They do not recognize the power of long term. I was doing a research on Netflix. If people had bought Netflix for just 100,000 naira in 14 years ago, or you can guess how much it would be now, 1.6 billion. So they could be sitting on a yacht just by making that good decision 14 years ago. But you can guess what will happen? They'll be disturbing you after 2 months. Tosin, my share has done 10%. I'm selling it now. Say, kilo day. Why are you rushing? The wealthy people, it's like watching paint dry. And that is a lot. And that's why I keep talking about you're doing an excellent, I'm such a fan of what you do. Speaking to people about how they think about is their behavior. Is the behavior. How many people have the patience? I was looking at the graph of Netflix. For like the first 8 years or so, it was just doing it was just like that. Like there was no much action. And then it started. Boom, 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 and it started to grow. So we need to have that patience. There's a particular investment I made about 2 years ago. I think it was in the beginning of January. I've taken my hands off. I want to leave it for 5 years. I'm not so on. Of course, if there's an aggressive news, maybe something, they did something bad, or, the director stole money, of course I will sell. But if there's no out of the ordinary news, I've taken my hands off it. We need to start learning how to take our hands off. And trust me, Oyinka, this is our job. Trust me. If any small thing happens like this, maybe mistakenly, you just start seeing emails, tossing, something has happened. I'm selling everything. Calm down, wait. So it's actually the patience of actually waiting and actually you've done all the fundamentals, you've done all the right things. Take your hands off it, watch your investment grow, and as time goes on, you keep heaping, you keep heaping on it. So that's basically how it works. And I think also the beautiful thing is like a relationship, because the investor I was 5 years ago is different from the investor I am now. I'm much more calmer, I'm much more patient, I'm taking a bit more risk. So I always tell people, enjoy the journey, don't be in a rush. When you come, please, I want to read a particular article. It's going to take me less than 2 minutes. Can I read it?
Yes,
when I saw it, I was like, I have to. Say that again.
Yes, you can. Yes, please go ahead.
All right, great. So I'm going to quote this. This was done by the Collaborative Fund by 2018. I do not own any right to this. It's an excerpt of a research by Collaborative Fund in 2018. So it states here that, let me tell you the story of two investors, of whom none of them knew each other, but whose path crossed in an interesting way. Grace Groner was orphaned at the age of 12. She never married. She never had kids. She never drove a car. She lived most of her life alone in a one-bedroom house and worked her whole career as a secretary. She was, by all accounts, a lovely lady, but she lived a humble life that made the $7 million left to charity after her death in 2010 at the age of 100, all the more confusing. People who you are asked, did Grace get all that money? But there was no secret. There was no inheritance. Grace took humble savings from a minimum salary and enjoyed 80 years of hands-off compounding in the stock market. That was it. Weeks after Grace died, an unrelated investment story hits the news. Oh, this is another. He was the former vice chairman of Berlin, the Latin American division. He declared personal bankruptcy, fighting off foreclosure on two homes, one of which was nearly 20,000 square feet and had a $66,000 a month mortgage. Now, Foscon was the opposite of Grace Groner, the first woman we spoke about. He was educated at Harvard.
I'm not sure. It's breaking. It looks like there's a digital challenge. Tosin, can you hear me? It looks like it's breaking. I'm not sure where it's from.
Say that again.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, a part of what you read, I didn't hear. I'm not sure if other people heard.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
But can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so I was saying that it looks like there was a digital challenge, network challenge, few minutes ago, but I'm not sure where that is coming from. Yes, so okay, so I see people saying that it is breaking, but I just want to be sure. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, but it started breaking. I'm not sure what led to that. But if you can hear me, just let me know, please. Okay, so it looks like there's a digital challenge. I'm sure Tosin will get round it and will be back. But she was reading an interesting story where she was trying to talk about two different people, and she was reading their story on, I think, someone who made a wise decision, and then she had started reading from the other person or about the other person. I'm sure she will do a recap or probably just start all over again. It looks like there's a digital challenge, yeah, so I'm sure she will be back soon. But if you have any questions for Tosin, Tosin is the founder of Money Africa. Her full name is Oluwatosin Olaseinde. Pretty sound, and I like the fact that she's so invested in helping millennials and young adults to invest their money. She would be back pretty soon. I think she's trying to sort something out. But if you haven't followed her or you haven't subscribed to the channel, this channel, please do so immediately. We're having a conversation on money, and Tosin is helping us to say, you know what, you can get into the global market with this amount of money to invest with this. And then, obviously, she said earlier on 80% of money habits is tied to your habit and your emotions. We can overflog that. If you also have not placed an order for my ebook, I released an ebook titled The High Ticket Executive, where I mentioned and went and dug into how people can make money online, and not just any kind of money. It's not about anywhere belay face. How you can make good money speaking the language of your client and targeting your client and having your client pay you attention and be able to pay you money. So how to get people to like you, to trust you, and to part with their money. So if you haven't placed an order, just visit my handle, Emotions Doctor, on Instagram, and you'll be able to place it. It's titled High Ticket Executive. Tosin will be back pretty soon. If you also have questions for her, please forward your questions here so that once she returns, I will be able to involve and engage her on the questions about money. My next question to her when she's back is to say and ask that what is the minimum budget to get into the global space, investing money at the global level and be able to earn in foreign currencies, and all of that. So I'm sure she's trying to get all of this together. Please forward your questions. If you have questions, please forward your questions. I'll be more than glad to read the questions out when Tosin returns. The ebook is titled High Ticket Authority. And when you get the ebook, you get two other gifts and bonuses alongside a video course on how your beliefs affect your financial health and wealth. And finally, how a checklist, yes, on the ebook also. So you're just paying for one, but getting the value of three. And if you are watching from anywhere outside of Nigeria, just send me a DM. I will forward my PayPal details to you, and you'll be able to have access to the High Ticket Executive ebook. So, how to order? Just get on my Instagram page, Emotions Doctor, and you will be able to place an order from there. So, this is what happens when you are live streaming from a particular African country. But I hope you guys have been able to get something. I like Tosin's energy. Tosin is good and great at what she does. She's one out of, a handful of friends that I have in the investment space. And I am so excited to have her on board. It's my first time engaging her at this level. Even though I know her pretty well, I follow her movement, I am a part of it. I just felt, you know what? Let's have this conversation. Everybody wants to make money and secure the bag. So let's hope she's able to get a hang on this. If you have questions, please forward your questions to us, and we would be more than glad to read the questions as. Oh, okay. So a gentleman says that it was very clear. He could hear us. I see that you're watching from Maryland, not Maryland, Lagos, Maryland, United States. At that point, the difference is clear. Ah, I hope Tosin is able to get a hang on this. I hope she can. Let me see. I hope she can. I hope she can get a hang of on this. If not, I may have to reach her on phone. But let's see. If you have questions, please forward your questions. If you have questions, please forward your questions to us and we would get Tosin back. Just give me a second. Let me get my phone so that I can reach out to her. Just give me a second. So let me just see. Let me just see, just in case she's trying to reach me or she has said something. Please just hold on. She will be back. I was enjoying the gist. I'm sure. Good. Good, good, good. Good, good. Tosin, we missed you. What happened?
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I think the Wi-Fi literally switched off on us.
It's totally fine. We got you. We got
Sorry.
you. When you work with emotions, you have to calm down. Just you fine. This is beyond anybody's control. Like nobody's in charge of it. So please, you need to please go ahead and read that beautiful document we were reading again.
Yeah, I promise I'm almost done. I'll just finish it now. I promise.
All right, great. We lost you at a point. Would you start again, please?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we lost you at a point. Yes, please.
At a point. Okay, great. All right. So I'm just going to start again. It's a brief story, but it's very insightful. So, okay. So Grace Groner was orphaned at the age of 12. She never married. She never had kids. She never drove a car. She lived most of her life alone in a one-bedroom house and worked her whole career as a secretary. She was, by all accounts, a lovely lady, but she lived a humble life. That made the $7 million she left to charity after her death in 2010 at the age of 100. All the more confusing. People who knew her asked, where did Grace get all that money from? But there was no secret. There was no inheritance. Grace took humble savings from a meager salary and enjoyed 80 years of hands-off compounding in the stock market. That was it. Weeks after Grace died, an unrelated investing story hit the news. Now, this is another person. Richard Foscon was the former vice chairman of Merrill Lynch's Latin America division. He declared personal bankruptcy, fighting off foreclosure on 2 homes, one of which was nearly 20,000 square feet and had a $60,000 a month mortgage. Foscon was the opposite of Grace Groner. He was educated at Harvard and University of Chicago. He became so successful in the investment industry that he retired in his 40s to pursue personal and charitable interests. But heavy borrowing and illiquid investments did him in. The same year that Grace Groner left a veritable fortune of $7 million to charity, Richard stood before a bankruptcy judge and he declared, I have been devastated by the financial crisis. The only source of liquidity I have left is what my wife will be able to sell from personal furnishing. Now, the purpose of this story is not to say that you should be like Grace and avoid being like Richard, but it is to point out that there is no other field where this story is even possible. In what other field does someone with no education, no relevant experience, no resources, no connections, vastly outperforms someone with the best education, the most relevant experiences, the best resources, and the best connection? There would never be a story of a Grace Groner performing heart surgery better than a Harvard-trained cardiologist or building a faster chip than by Apple's engineer, but it is unthinkable. So you can see from that article, and this is what we preach all the time, long-term gain. So a lot of people will say, oh, but I don't have that background, but I don't have finance degree, but my parents are poor, amongst others. I say to them, long-term gain. Long-term gain is like eating. If I must eat in a month, I must put something aside. If I must, if I must go out, or if I must do something, I must put something aside. Just basically changing our mind about money and knowing that it is possible. And trust me, I love this story so much that I think I've told it so much to our community members, and they are so tired of it, because the truth is, people are tired of theory. They want to see real life. They want to see real stories. They want you to tell your own story. And that is why we keep sharing stories like this, that whatever it is that you have, portion something for invest, and then just like putting a bucket underneath a leaking tap. One day, that bucket will fill up. But you know what happens? Many people put buckets under a leaking tap. Then what do? They take a bowl. They keep if you keep scooping from it, will not fill up. So what we need to do is to take our hands off and let that leaking tap fill up. Yes.
Thank you so much, Tosi. Thank you so much. There's a question that we have. The question is, in Money Africa or at Money Africa, what's the least package that we can pay to get into the global game? So if you want to invest and start earning pounds and dollars, what's the least amount of money?
Okay, great. So basically for now, we educate and all of that, but we also connect the people that come with us with investment packages. So for instance, if you want to invest in the Euro bonds, like you're going to get approximately 7%. We have partnership for that. You don't even need to pay us. You can just send us an email and we'll make it happen. So info at the Money Africa for that. However, if you want to join a community of budding investors, people like us, there was a guy that joined our community at the beginning of the year. He'll be asking us things like, so what is share? What is that? After 6 months, you should see how he chats in the community. It feels like a different person altogether. So everybody comes together. We are sharing ideas. We are sharing knowledge. We have monthly webinars, you understand, and then gradually we're changing the mindset and we're helping people to deliberately, invest and play the long term game. So in summary, what the package we have a community that we charge 10,000 naira and you get access for 6 months, or 20,000 naira for an entire year. So we have pre-recorded courses. We also have a Telegram group where we chat, and we also have some webinars. Right now, we also have another package. So people be like, oh, I don't like groups. I want something more personified. Or maybe I'm working with a large amount of money and I want to chat with someone. We have that. It's called a one-on-one. It costs 50,000 naira. One of our consultants. We have the session. Fantastic, brilliant, 50,000 naira, and we also have something for children. So we want to start catching them young, catching our graces early, catching our recharge early, start teaching them and start preparing them for the adult life. That we just finished running a boot camp now, but I'm sure there will be more boot camps in the future and you can get your children booked in. And the very what you can also do is to join our newsletter. We send emails 3 times every week. So if you don't even read all the 3 of them, at least read one every week. Have a catch up what's happening in Nigeria, what's happening in how's the market behaving, and things like that.
Fantastic. So Tosin has mentioned how to join. If you are not following Money Africa yet, please be a part of it. Secondly, is their newsletter that packages for adults and children. Can you hear me?
Your voice is cracking. I think it's beginning to crack again.
What about now?
Same thing, cracking all the same.
I'm not sure what is going on. Yes, but is this you cracking?
Same. But yeah.
Okay, so it's been pretty interesting. If you want to learn from Tosin, you mentioned earlier how to join. You can just follow anything about Money Africa and you will be able to get it.
Okay.
You'll be able to get, what they are.
Okay, I can hear you, but what I'm hearing you say that they want to join Money Africa, how can they reach us? We're on Instagram at Money Africa, we're on Twitter at the Money Africa. You can send us an email, info@themoneyafrica.com. if you reach us on Twitter at the Money Africa, will respond immediately. You can even come on Instagram, send us a DM. Money Africa will respond immediately. So we have our team on all the platforms, and we're very happy to help you.
Thank you so much, Tosin. Thank you so much, Tosin. It's been I am just here because of digital chemistry going on.
All right, that's fine. Thank you.
But I'm just here laughing. But it's been a fantastic show. I personally will reach out to you to find out how I can get dollars and pounds.
Yeah, thank you for having me. To love you, and I'm grateful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know what is going on, but it was interesting to host Tosin. Tosin, once again, is the founder of Money Africa. Her full name is Oluwatosin Olaseinde, and we're having conversations on money. And I was able to pick a lot of things: where money is, where you should go to, how you should invest. And she mentioned that you can join their newsletter. She also said follow their handles. They have packages for children, for youths, for adults. I can tell you that Tosin knows exactly what she's doing. She's great at her job. She's passionate about it. And if you're yet to order my ebook titled The High Ticket Executive, which is something that I took my time to just curate because I saw that a lot of people were struggling with attracting premium tickets, and the marketing style was something like a hustler or survivor marketing style. So if you really know what exactly you're doing, it would not be that tough for you to break into the market, be able to sell your message to the people that you are called to help, because you're not called to help everybody. For example, I know who my target audience is. 65% of them are above 40. They have about 15 years working experience. They're executives who have little or no challenge with money. They have a good number. They have a good amount in their account already, but they need meaning. And when I say meaning, they need more peace, deep peace, joy, and happiness. Those are the people that I'm called to serve, at least 65% of them. So high ticket executive is that ebook that will move you from being a hustler to being a highly paid professional. Send me a DM, not necessarily send me a DM. If you look at and check my handles on Instagram, you will just see how to place an order for it. It's been an interesting journey today. It's been really interesting. We're here, and if you know what happens in the country that I stream from, you will just know that there are a lot of things that are outside of your area of control. I will be here next week with somebody really, really interesting once again. We will be helping you increase your personal and professional influence. Please share this link with your friends, your family members, everybody. All of us need to increase our personal and professional influence and also attract as much money as possible and as much credit alerts as possible. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. The Soul Stripping Spa Show, once again, is designed to just help you do two things: increase your personal and professional influence. Tosin was great at what she mentioned today, and we had a good time despite the glitch. I am so excited. Thank you for hanging out with us. Have a wealthy weekend. You have a choice, but you need to choose wealth and have a wealthy weekend. And that means that you should prioritize your mental health. Mental health, financial health, every level of health, but mental health is the grandfather of them all. Thank you once again. I will see you next week, Friday. Thank you.